The sands of time cannot be stopped. Years pass whether we will them or not, but we can remember. What has been lost may yet live on in memories. That which you will hear is imperfect and fragmented, yet treasure it, for without you it does not exist. I give you now a memory that has been forgotten, hidden in the dreamy haze that lies beyond us. His keen eyes inspected their interested faces. His gaze lingered on Eragon last of all. Before your grandfathers' fathers were born, and yea, even before their fathers, the dragon riders were formed. To protect and guard was their mission, and for thousands of years they succeeded. Their prowess in battle was unmatched, for each had the strength of 10 men. They were immortal, unless blade or poison took them. For good only were their powers used, and under their tutelage tall cities and towers were built out of the living stone. While they kept peace, the land flourished. It was a golden time. The elves were our allies, the dwarves our friends. Wealth flowed into our cities, and men prospered. But weep, for it could not last. Brahm looked down silently. Infinite sadness resonated in his voice. Though no enemy could destroy them, they could not guard against themselves. And it came to pass at the height of their power that a boy, Galbatorix by name, was born in the province of Inselbeth, which is no more. At 10 he was tested, as was the custom, and it was found that great power resided in him. The riders accepted him as their own. Through their training he passed, exceeding all others in skill. Gifted with a sharp mind and strong body, he quickly took his place among the riders' ranks. Saw some his abrupt rise as dangerous and warned the others, but the riders had grown arrogant in their power, and so ignored caution. Alas, sorrow was conceived that day. So it was that soon after his training was finished, Galbatorix took a reckless trip with 2 friends. Far north they flew, night and day, and passed into the Urgle's remaining territory, foolishly thinking the new powers would protect them. There on a thick sheet of ice, unmelted even in summer, they were ambushed in their sleep. Though his friends and their dragons were butchered and he suffered great wounds, Galbatorix slew his attackers. Tragically, during the fight, a stray arrow pierced his dragon's heart. Without the arts to save her, she died in his arms. Then were the seeds of madness planted. The storyteller clasped his hands and looked around slowly, shadows flickering across his worn face. The next words came like the mournful toll of a requiem. Alone, bereft of much of his strength and half mad with loss, Galbatorix wandered without hope in that desolate land, seeking death. It did not come to him, though he threw himself without fear against any living thing. Urgles and other monsters soon fled from his haunted form. During this time, he came to realize that the riders might grant him another dragon. Driven by this thought, he began the arduous journey on foot back through the spine. Territory he had soared over effortlessly on a dragon's back now took him months to traverse. He could hunt with magic, but oftentimes he walked in places where animals did not travel. Thus, when his feet finally left the mountains, he was close to death. A farmer found him collapsed in the mud and summoned the riders. Unconscious, he was taken to their holdings, and his body healed. He slept for 4 days. Upon awakening, he gave no sign of his fevered mind. When he was brought before a council convened to judge him, Galbatorix demanded another dragon. The desperation of the request revealed his dementia, and the council saw him for what he truly was. Denied his hope, Galbatorix, through the twisted mirror of his madness, came to believe it was the rider's fault his dragon had died. Night after night, he brooded on that and formulated a plan to exact revenge. Brahm's words dropped to a mesmerizing whisper. He found a sympathetic rider, and there his insidious words took root. By persistent reasoning and the use of dark secrets learned from a shade, he inflamed the rider against their elders. Together they treacherously lured and killed an elder. When the foul deed was done, Galbatorix turned on his ally and slaughtered him without warning. The riders found him then, with blood dripping from his hands. A scream tore from his lips, and he fled into the night. As he was cunning in his madness, they could not find him. For years he hid in wastelands like a hunted animal, always watching for pursuers. His atrocity was not forgotten, but over time searches ceased. Then through some ill fortune he met a young rider, Morzan. Strong of body, but weak of mind, Galbatorix convinced Morzan to leave a gate unbolted in the citadel Illyria, which is now called Urobane. Through this gate Galbatorix entered and stole a dragon hatchling. He and his new disciple hid themselves in an evil place where the riders dared not venture. There Morzan entered into a dark apprenticeship, learning secrets and forbidden magic that should never have been revealed. When his instruction was finished, and Galbatorix's black dragon, Shrukan, was fully grown, Galbatorix revealed himself to the world with Morzan at his side. Together they fought any rider they met. With each kill, their strength grew. 12 of the riders joined Galbatorix out of desire for power and revenge against perceived wrongs. These 12, with Morzan, became the 13 forsworn. Bosses which won't be fought. The riders were unprepared and fell beneath the onslaught. The elves too fought bitterly against Galbatorix, but they were overthrown and forced to flee to their secret places, from whence they come no more. Only Vrail, leader of the riders, could resist Galbatorix and the Forsworn. Ancient and wise, he struggled to save what he could, and keep the remaining dragons from falling to his enemies. In the last battle, before the gates of Doru Arabia, Vrail defeated Galbatorix, but hesitated with the final blow. Galbatorix seized the moment and smote him in the side. Grievously wounded, Vrail fled to Utgard Mountain, where he hoped to gather strength, but it was not to be, for Galbatorix found him. As they fought, Galbatorix kicked Vrail in the fork of his legs. With that underhanded blow, the goddamn nutshot. God damn it. He gained dominance over Vrail and removed his head with a blazing sword. Then, as power rushed through his veins, Galbatorix anointed himself king over all Alagasia. And from that day, he has ruled us. With the completion of the story, Brom shuffled away with the troubadours. Eragon thought he saw a tear shining on his cheek. People murmured quietly to each other as they departed. Garrow said to Eragon and Roran, "Consider yourselves fortunate. I have heard this tale only twice in my life. If the Empire knew that Brom had recited, he would not live to see a new month." Not a bad chapter.